Hey guys, Tarke here, and I wanted to do a video talking about my content plans, Baeclast announcements for 3.15. It's very hot in the UK. Um, but yeah, so we're going to be doing a Baeclast on the Thursday after patch notes. We decided not to do a Baeclast as part of the league announcement because of the Royale, and we didn't really want to clash with it. Basically, Rise was like, oh, I need to be number one Royale. I can't take any time off. So yeah. um, so we'll be doing it on the Thursday, and then it should be the first proper full weekend of. We might need to rearrange our schedule if Rise is going to always be difficult about not being able to do Baeclast when Royale is on, but we'll work that out. Also, since I get asked about it constantly, when will Baeclast be on podcast services? I'm just busy with other stuff. We had Octavian doing it for a while. I set up a SoundCloud and was paying monthly for like a premium service on that, and he got a couple of episodes on there, and then he just kind of got bored of it and stopped. So if you could nag Octavian, we can kind of get that rolling again. That would be great. If you wonder sometimes why our Baeclast schedule is a bit all over the place, the general rule of thumb is we do 1 to 2 before league. So if we're part of the announcement cycle, we'll do one on announcement day, and then like one after patch notes, ideally, and then first week of the league, and then 2 weeks after that. We used to be very good at maintaining that all the way through the league. In recent leagues, it's been a situation of either my schedule or other people's schedule hasn't really clashed, so we kind of let it slip a bit. And also the way that Path of Exile does their content iteration now, it's so rapid. It's actually much harder to sustain podcast topics in the way that we do it. Since we kind of let us just kind of flow for a couple of hours and we don't be like, this is a very strict 1 hour schedule, we burn through a lot of content quite quickly. And before it used to be pretty easy to sustain out league content. So if you use Heist as an example, PUE used to, they'd release a league and then it might be like 2-3 weeks until you saw the first change, then maybe another 2-3 weeks until you saw the second change, etc., etc. Whereas now they'll make like 80 changes in the first week, and when they're iterating so quickly, it's much harder to do like sustained feedback in the way that we tend to do it. So that's just something we kind of need to work out going forward. As to my own content plans for 3.15, I'm thinking for the first month roughly, I'm going to be doing daily SSF updates alongside other content, which I'll get into in a bit. The reasoning for the daily SSF content, one, I find it quite fun to do, and also I think it's quite useful information. A lot of Path of Exile content tends to kind of feel like just bragging, oh, look at how cool my character is. And I don't think that's particularly helpful. Whereas in an SSF content, when you're having that daily, like, this is what we've achieved so far, this is our next goal for the character, this is how I'm going to try and go about doing it, I think that's more useful, or at least I imagine that's more useful for someone who's trying to like learn alongside you. And also, a lot of you guys like to copy my builds, so it's good progression for you. And that's the upside of playing SSF, is you can be super detailed in your build progression and not need to worry about it ruining you. I used to have that problem a lot when I used to play Trade League, is I'd be like, hey guys, I'm going to be playing this build, it's really cool. And then you guys would buy the items, I'm like, oh, wait, hang on. So yeah, so that's going to be the plan. Alongside that, I'm going to be doing my usual like talking head, just like Tarke talks about topic videos. I might do a couple more like indie game review stuff because I actually have a long list of indie games that I've just been having a lot of fun with recently. I enjoy that kind of content the most. That's my favorite kind of content to make, just the like Tarke talks about a thing. But obviously that is not the easiest thing to make because you need to have something that you care enough about to just talk about. We were doing quite a lot of fun videos last league with like Tarke's in a tree talking about traps or whatever. I want to do more content like that. Basically where the channel was at sort of a few weeks into last week is kind of where I want to be going with my channel in general. I was really happy with the direction of the channel last league, but we had some absolute insanity kicking off IRL, which basically I just had to stop everything and just focus entirely on getting that resolved. Thankfully that situation is over now, so hopefully we can just kind of work, which would be nice. One small caveat to that, generally what tends to happen with my content when you see large lapses, I do have an ongoing health condition which is quite serious, and maintaining that is kind of its own challenge, and that's why I do the work that I do. Is it's very flexible. I get to work around my Crohn's disease, but when a big calamity, a big IRL thing happens, I then tend to lose focus on the health, and then that's where it kind of goes wherever. Another thing that I get asked about a lot is whenever all the Patreon build reviews return. So I never actually stopped doing Patreon build reviews. If you subscribe to my Patreon once a month, you can send me build requests. I did actually have to pause that when I had all the IRL stuff kicking off recently, but it's something that I still do. It's just not in the way I used to do it. So what I used to do is I used to do like a 30-minute-ish video going over this people submitted builds and then sending it all back. And I used to do that all on stream, and then I would upload them all onto the YouTube channel. It was really popular for a while, and people were like, okay, you're doing this too much, this is terrible. So then I used to upload only like one a week onto the YouTube, but people kind of, I think they just kind of got burnt out on it. So I just stopped uploading them to the channel completely. I used to just do them all as unlisted videos to my patrons. And then it was around October, November of last year that I started having my voice problems, which is why I stopped streaming. So if you don't know, I started having an issue wherever I talked for more than about 2-ish hours. I'd get a lot of pain in my throat. If you might notice in my regular videos, I'll like catch myself and have to pause. Like I'm feeling it a little bit now. That's from me talking. We still don't know what the issue is. I'm seeing a specialist on the 21st of August. Hopefully they can give us some sort of like, it might be this. I'm not that optimistic because I've had a year of doctors kind of being like, we don't know, bro. If I had to guess, I'd imagine it's some kind of just mechanical issue with my voice box. I don't think it's viral or anything like that because I've had so many courses of antibiotics, antifungal medication, basically everything and anything you can have over the last year. I had a thing where we had like tubes shoved up in me in 24-hour acid tests, and that wasn't very fun. Yeah, we've had cameras, we've had everything, and they just don't really know what's up. So yeah, fun. So my point being, I still do the Patreon build reviews, but now I do them as written. So people will submit something, and then I'll take a couple of days. Usually what I like to do is I like to collect a bunch, and then I'll be like, on Thursday will be the day I knock them all out. And then yeah, I'll just see what they've said. So it might be like, for example, hey Tarke, playing Frostblade Raider, this is where the build is at, this is some things I'm struggling with, what would you change if anything? I'll throw it into POB, I'll mess around with it a little bit, I'll then look on POB Ninja, see if there's any cool stuff that I've missed, like, oh, they're trying this. And then I'll like add that into the build as well, and then I'll kick a message back being like, hey, I've messed around with it for a few hours. This is sort of where I think the vibe is. Here are maybe some profiles you should look at. Let me know what you think, and then we have like a bit of a back and forth. So yeah, so if you are interested in that sort of thing, I have got a Patreon link down below. And also massive thank you to everyone who's been so patient with my Patreon. I do have to take pauses on it, and just being patient with the channel in general. I do hope the UK cools the hell down. It is way too mildly warm. I am not a fan. Yeah, very much looking forward to Expedition League. We should be getting the developer manifesto later today, which should be interesting. Generally, obviously, you always need to wait for patch notes, but you get a pretty good sense of what will and won't be like very safe picks based on this we completely dumpstered and it's probably still fine, but like, or, oh, they haven't touched this at all. Without knowing anything, I kind of feel like Chieftain might be the sleeper pick going into next league. My thought process being is it has inbuilt, assuming it doesn't get changed, Fizz to Fire mitigation, it's got the Ignite immunity stuff, it's got some regen stuff, you've got options to mess around with the new Slam Totem, which I think will be a pretty good starter pick. Anyway, I should save that for another video. But yes, I'm Tarke, have a good day. My condolences to the fellow UK sufferers. Bye-bye.